where to begin? Better ask when.
Shane, good to see you. I want to dive right into the headlines, talk about the markets and geopolitics. Rising tensions in Iran have pushed oil prices higher and created short-term volatility in the markets. Historically, however, geopolitical conflicts tend to have only a temporary impact on stocks. So as we take a look at the S&P's 3-month performance here, we do still see some red on the board. So why do we tend to see stocks fall first when tensions rise?
Well, these types of things just don't like the overall uncertainty that comes along with international tensions like we see in the Middle East right now. The investors don't like it. The companies themselves don't like it. There's just uncertainty all over the board about the transiting of fuel and other things that are happening in the area. And so it just creates an overall depression in these types of stocks. They just don't like it.
Well, I know you're a student of history, so let's take a look at the S&P here, which usually recovers quickly from geopolitical event. As we can see here, several events and mostly short, shallow pullbacks. Explain what we're looking at.
So look at those blue dots. Most of them you see in the bottom right-hand corner of this chart below the 10% and below the 100-day mark. So that's really telling us that most of these historical events over the years have resolved in less than 100 days and have seen less than a 10% drawdown in the process. And so really most of these things resolve pretty quickly. That's what this is telling us. And we believe, we were hopeful anyways, that this will be another one of those that resolves pretty quickly. The overall, sentiment and objectives out there seems to be about getting this over with as quickly as possible. And so we believe that that's the track that we're heading towards. We'll see how that actually plays out as time goes by.
For investors then who are watching these headlines and these rising oil prices, what's the most important perspective we should be keeping in mind before making portfolio decisions?
Well, it's all about really not making any decisions at all right now. Right now, if you try to make a decision, you're trying to time the market, and timing the market is an incredibly difficult thing to do in a time like this. But what you should have rather is a plan that's designed to handle these ups and downs, that's built with the experience and the knowledge of past events to help your current plan weather the storm that's happening right now.
Because if we are hearing these headlines and making decisions, that's generally called emotional investing, right? Can you explain how emotional investing tends to lead to bad financial decisions?
It's a funny thing because you get excited, you start investing, the money's growing, it's almost thrilling, and you're so excited that it grows, but then maybe one day it starts to tip the other direction. You've not seen this before. Maybe you're not used to it going down. You get a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of fear. It starts dropping even further, and really you start to panic maybe, and you wind up just selling everything and going back to cash for fear of it getting even worse. And what you're really trying to do here, again, is time the market, which is incredibly difficult to do, especially in an active situation like we're seeing in the Middle East. And what happens is you usually miss that swing back up. And if you do that, you'll really be kicking yourself because you'll miss that upswing and you'll be forever locked at a lower value in your portfolio.
Yeah, good point. That recovery can usually happen like that. So Shane, if somebody either doesn't have that financial plan or doesn't feel comfortable, which means their financial plan isn't in line with their risk tolerance and wants to sit down with you, what's the best way to reach you?
Best way to reach us is online or via phone here directly to the office. Website here is winstonandcompanies.com.
Great. Shane, thank you so much for your help today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Erin.
Got a plan for your retirement, 'cause you know it's just down the road. But if you don't know where to begin, better ask when.